Hello and welcome to the True North Show. I'm your host, Megan North, and I'd like to thank our sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, Anne C. Clark, and our lovely guest who paid to be featured on this episode. Today, I'm joined by a woman who I have known about for some time, but only recently met online. And as soon as we started talking, I knew she'd be perfect for the show. Jennifer Jefferies is a leading voice in resilience and wellbeing, known for her remarkable journey of turning adversity into growth. Her story began in the Australian Army, where she was discharged at age 19 for her sexual orientation, a moment that ignited her determination to live boldly and never be silenced. After experiencing burnout in the corporate world, Jennifer retrained as a naturopath, specialising in stress and adrenal health. For over 30 years, she's helped organisations and individuals break the cycle of unchecked stress, proving that prevention leads to sustainable success. Her no-nonsense approach empowers people to boost resilience, thrive amid uncertainty, and reclaim their energy and confidence. Jennifer's impact extends beyond consulting and speaking. She's an author, TEDx speaker, and podcast host whose authenticity and humour connect deeply with her audiences. Her practical strategies are rooted in her own life experiences, ensuring people leave inspired and equipped to make real change. Driven by compassion, Jennifer founded the Q Foundation to support disadvantaged children in Thailand with shelter, education and healthcare. Her humanitarian work reflects her commitment to creating lasting positive change. Now, outside of all of this, Jennifer embraces life as an adventurer and surfer, advocating through wellbeing beyond avoiding illness. It's about living fully and joyfully. Her message is clear. Adversity does not define us, but how we respond does. Jennifer Jefferies is the present-day wise woman, reminding us that resilience and heart make everything possible. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. I'm really pleased that you're here joining us today.
Thank you. It all sounded, I sounded a bit serious until you got to the fun part. Just fun.
Yes. Well, you do have that lovely balance though, don't you?
Yes, I can be intensely passionate about life. Yes.
Yes, yeah. So when I'm reading through your bio, are you the type of person who reflects on what you've done and where you've come from, or are you just more likely to just forge your path and never look back?
Oh, no, I reflect, definitely. However, I reflect with gratitude. So instead of reflecting, like I choose to live by kind of the motto that I'll never die wondering. So I don't reflect back and go, oh, that could have gone different and that didn't quite work out. It's like, how cool I gave that a crack. So I live from today forward. I live my future out of my present, not my past. However, I'm incredibly grateful for everything, all the parts of my past.
I love that. That's a really lovely perspective, because sometimes when I read out bios for guests, they sit there and they say, oh my gosh, I never reflect. So when I read it out, they say, oh my gosh, that's so much. And it was funny because you were like, I sound really serious. There needed to be some fun in there. But it's really lovely that you reflect, particularly with that feeling of gratitude, because I think that's really important.
It is, and a lot of people haven't made it to my age. And so I'm really grateful of every day that and everything that I've done, because I'm still here.
Yeah, beautiful. So we heard a snippet of your background and your journey, but can you share with us what was the defining moment that led you to pursue your true passion and your purpose?
So my passion and purpose that's been around for the last nearly 40 years, since I was 26, so like 38 years, was that I wanted to help other people with their health. So when I burned out in my 20s working in the pharmacy industry, and naturopath helped me, I went, I want to do that the rest of my life. So I absolutely have been doing that, and just been the coolest work ever, being able to help people. And it's now evolving. It's evolving. As I've come into my crone years, it's definitely evolving now as well. To take on more of that purpose of really working with midlife and older women, not just on their health, but very much on helping them find their purpose and stuff in life as they age.
And do
Yeah.
you find that as life is, I feel like life is changing, particularly as a woman, do you find that women are getting, I don't know, is it braver or more courageous to step into their own power and do things to help themselves?
Well, something naturally happens hormonally in our body. So when we're younger and still producing estrogen in large amounts, that's what gives us the ability to nurture. So to make babies and raise kids and do the family, all that stuff.
Mm.
As we naturally reach this point where estrogen is not dominant in our life, we actually lose that. And all of a sudden now, for some women, they'll go, holy shit, what? I'm lost. My purpose in life was to raise kids. However,
Mm.
they're not hormonally driven in that way now. And they go, wow, I don't know what to do.
Mm.
And it's a very real thing, but it's a hormonal change. And what we're meant to do, our body, I really believe, is meant to do in this next, kind of the third chapter of our life, because there's our growing up years, then there's the grow the family years, and then there's the live into the last 30 years or so of our lives,
Mm.
from 50s and 60s, is very much about community, ourselves and community, and
Mm.
passing on that wisdom. So there's actually a hormonal change. So as we're aging, we're seeing more women around us a similar age. Obviously, it's more on our RAS, our reticular activating system. We see it more, but it's a natural progression
Mm.
that's meant to be here at this
Mm.
age. Yeah. And at the same time, it's really important for women to stand in their power. And so that's a big part of my work nowadays, is helping women find that courage to use their voice, because we were raised here in the Western world to be good little girls and keep your mouth shut and do all that stuff.
Mm.
Well, guess what? Hormonally, we don't want to keep our mouth shut. So helping women to find their courage to live the life they truly want.
Mm.
That's what I love playing with. But it's a normal hormone response.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow, that's so interesting. I love also, well, I think that COVID's also driven the importance of community
Huge.
deeper as
Yeah.
well. I think because, when we're all disconnected, I think that then people realised who's in my circle, who have I got to support,
Yeah.
and just physically being around people. My I also have a business with a girlfriend of mine, and we run mini retreats for women, and we had one on the weekend. And we had this beautiful woman, she's 69, she's about to turn 70. She's just recently widowed. And she said, after 33 years, I'm now thinking, well, what's next for me and what's my new identity? And we were just celebrating her, because I just love
Mm.
when women step into the space and say, well, what's next? How am I going to embrace it? And what can I do for myself?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. There's a couple of things in that. It's definitely COVID. The more they told us to be isolated, which is the nastiest punishment you can do to anyone on this planet, the more they did that, our bodies screamed for connection.
Mm.
So definitely it made us more aware of maybe community and connection where we hadn't. I know it definitely did for me, where maybe we hadn't been as mindful of that in the past.
Mm.
And then at the same time, again, we've got women like your friend who's 69 and going, what's next?
Mm.
And in Indigenous cultures and in classic matriarchal kind of societies, there's rituals to help a woman move through menopause. The crone, it's a real thing.
Mm.
And I've gone and done things myself to enable that passage for myself.
Mm.
And but in so many Indigenous and matriarchal cultures, when a woman starts to bleed, they're celebrated. Where
Mm.
me, I didn't even know about anything like that. One day I woke up and I honestly think I thought I'd shit myself. So I woke up in the night, winter pajamas, and I was covered in brown because the blood had dried. Hopped in the shower, I was like 12, hopped in the shower, cleaned myself up, and then before school I'm bleeding, and I said to Mum, something's wrong. And she went, oh, you've got your period, and in loud in front of my brothers and family and everything, and sent me off to school with a Modus pad that wide, and
Oh, God.
felt the thing swing all day, and it's like there was nothing. And so I resented
Mm.
periods and everything for so long. There was nothing to bring me into such an important part of my life,
Yeah.
nothing to take me out, no structure. Where in so many other societies in non-West, it's just naturally still there. And so
Yeah.
women 69, for instance, aren't feeling lost in those cultures, they're welcomed in and
Mm.
nurtured by the sisterhood to help them live into their wisdom years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
So
Because we miss
interesting.
out on so much in the West.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm,
yeah, I would agree with you definitely.
mm.
And so when you said you just mentioned before about there's so much like you're evolving into new things
Yeah.
and things are changing. What sort of things are changing for you at the moment?
Well, my work so much, my naturopathic work has been, and all my books, I've written 16 books, all that kind of stuff. It's all been very much around adrenal health and burnout.
Okay.
And working as a speaker for 25 years, it's all been that kind of work. And I've loved it. I love it so much. However, as I've naturally aged, my passion has grown as well.
Mm.
So a big part of a naturopath's work is very much around counseling kind of roles anyway, because life isn't just physical. So we
Mm.
very much do it. So as I started aging and 40s and 50s and me coming into this natural kind of time, all of a sudden I'm having different conversations with women
Mm.
around them feeling I'm lost, what's next, the kids are leaving home, empty nest, all that kind of stuff. I'm in a good life. I've got a good relationship. It's not inspiring and it's not passionate, but it's good and
Mm.
job's good and I'm bored shitless.
Yeah,
But do I just stay here?
yeah, because everything's good.
Everything's just good. And
Mm.
it's like, what if life was extraordinary? And
Mm.
so I found myself definitely in the last decade or so, having totally different conversations with women.
Mm.
And so I've opened it up in a really big way to head it in that direction. I've very much found my purpose. So my own new podcast, Present Day Wise Woman, is all around sharing the stories of the wise women who are
Mm.
around us.
Mm.
In the West, we don't have that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's that's where I'm going.
exciting.
It is so good, so
Yeah,
juicy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
And so, with all the work that you do, I'm assuming that, and particularly with your background, mental health, I suspect, plays a really big part in your
Yeah.
life, just generally.
Yeah.
So how do you prioritize your mental health, and how do you maintain it while you're busy and you're pursuing your passion and purpose?
Yeah, it's huge. It's vital. And because you mentioned COVID, I just want to throw in here, we've seen, as a naturopath, with my naturopath hat on, I totally understand the rise in mental health issues over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So as a naturopath, we say that there's this thing called GAS, general adaptation syndrome. So when we're first under stress, our body, the adrenal glands adapt. And they literally pump out more stress hormones so that we can, where are we going? What are we going to do? Like
Mm-hmm.
fight or flee. So that happens. And what's meant to happen is we're meant to have stress and then we're meant to get time to replenish. Stress, replenish, stress, replenish. That didn't happen. And so
Mm.
people advance to stage 2. Now, stage 2 gas, your adrenals can't get any bigger. And so, but they go, here, have a bit more, just manage that stress a bit better. And so you keep going. Now, this is a classic. When people go on holidays, they get sick day one. They catch a cold.
So,
That's as soon as the adrenals have got breathing space, they'll fall in a heap because they're going,
mm.
just sit still. I've held it together. Now it's your turn. Just sit still for a minute.
Mm.
So that's normal. And then stage 3, they can't physically get bigger. They can't give you any more, and you fall in a heap.
Mm.
Now, the stress at 2 or 3 years, depending when you lived in the world and the amount of lockdowns that you had, people lived in fight or flight, totally unknowing of what the future was.
Mm.
No security, no predictability or anything in the future. And then all of a sudden one day the governments went, okay, back to work. Like, countries broke, go back to work. And everyone went, okay. And their body's still in survival mode. So
Mm.
as a naturopath, I talk about the triangle of health. So for us to get sick of any description, 3 things have to be in place. And one is our attitudes and beliefs, which we get from our environment.
Mm-hmm.
People lost hope so badly during those lockdown years. Our generations had never experienced it. And they were like, is this thing ever going to stop?
Mm.
And very resigned and cynical. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense that happened. The second one is the physical thing. Well, just the physical isn't always a physical. It's the circumstance, the environment that we're in can be part of it as well. But it's also physical. So many people coped with that lockdown with alcohol and binge eating. And I know definitely ice cream came into my world for a while. Baskin Robbins, pralines and cream. It was there for a while until I went, Jen, stop doing that. But it sneaked in. It was hilarious for me. I know this stuff. So if it sneaks in on my life and I know what to do about it, I was thinking, wow, people aren't coping. And then the third one is our emotional state. And so, again, living in fear and unknown and loss of hope for 3 years, it was a perfect storm to create not just physical imbalances, but the whole mental health thing. Like when we first stress out, we literally pinch our shoulders up. It's like, yeah, and when we do that, we pinch the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve, runs from our brain right down through our gut. We shut down our guts for 2 or 3 years. And yet so much of our happy hormones are produced in our gut microbiome. So again, go back to work. Don't do anything to repair it. People, they're not even depressed, but they're not happy.
Yeah.
Because their gut is not connected. That gut-brain axis is just not happening.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense to me as a naturopath. Huge. And so, again, I saw it playing out in my life, and it made me be really mindful in those days because I didn't have to be as mindful in the past. It made me be really mindful in those days to ground myself. So I'm an aromatherapist. I design my own Sanity Saver blend because I'm an ADHD, go fast kind of chick anyway. I need to stay grounded. But it contains essential oils like vetiver and sandalwood and cedarwood and patchouli, all the essential oils that they're not sedatives. They just keep your brain so you can think of one thing at once. Stay present, not the future, not the past. So I'm a big user of essential oils, particularly on the soles of my feet because our feet are waterproof, not oil-proof. But then I get out in nature. I surf. And so I'm in my office today, but every hour and a half or so between things, I go out and I walk the garden. I pull a weed. I touch a plant. I ground myself and I garden with no shoes on. I mindfully do things to keep myself grounded for my own mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything like weird or quirky that you've ever tried for your mental health that hasn't worked for you?
No, not off the top of my head. I've done some cool stuff in life. No, I'd have to say no because I really know at the time I would have gotten the benefits that I needed at that time. Was it as successful as other things had been? No, but I live with such trust that we make our choices with the information that we have at that time. And so choice and consequence, anything results from whatever we choose to do is going to be perfect for that time. Now, hindsight's great but useless. We can all look back and go, oh, I could have done that and should have tried that and should have had 10 drops of that instead of 5 drops. Useless. Yeah. At that time, the result was perfect for where I was at. Yeah. And I live with that trust. So
wow, that's beautiful.
I've done some quirky shit in my life. However, I know it was all right at that time.
Yeah. And the reason that I was just curious about that is because that some of the work that I do with my clients is what are you doing with your mental health? And I always say to them, experiment. Social media tells you should be doing this and you should be doing that, but it doesn't mean that it's a one size fits all. No. So I'm always getting my clients to experiment, have a go. If you don't like it, then try something else.
Yeah. I'll never die wondering.
Yeah.
And I test and measure everything on myself before I'll ever recommend it to a client.
Yes.
Yeah. I try it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I love that. Like I'm not one to just sit and meditate. I just can't do that. Whereas when I'm walking, I'll do my meditation.
Well, I learned Buddhist meditations years ago, which is a walking meditation. So I walk and chant every day mindfully. And that's, you don't have to sit.
No.
You're allowed to walk.
And that's it. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, actually sitting for me, it just doesn't work for me. So I love to meditate, but how can I make it work for me? So I experimented and then I found that actually when I'm walking and doing that work, it actually is better. And I always also feel like it moves through my body better as well because I'm actually moving. So, but I think it's whatever works for you, I think is really important for people to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So Before we go to hear from our sponsors, I'd just love to quickly just touch on, you've got a 5 things downloadable at the moment.
I do. Free ebook. Yes, I do. To
So
help
can you tell us a
midlife
little bit
women.
about that?
Yeah, it's like, the majority of my clients are women midlife and beyond who are just going, what the fuck? Call them the what the fuck is. So physically, emotionally, mentally, things not working. They don't know where to start. So the ebook, I'm all about the BAM, the bare ass minimum. And so, because I know busy people still want to be healthy. So the ebook is simple. This is what's not working. Let's just get you started. Give you a BAM. And then you can build. I'm about people building foundations and building that strong foundation so that when you're hit by things in the future, you don't fall over, where people are plucking all the latest things they find on the internet and they're Band-Aids and they wonder why they're not getting a result.
Yeah.
So that ebook is just boringly practical, because I'm that practical naturopath to give you a core basic to get started and build from there.
Fantastic. I love that. Thank you. And thank you for creating that for everybody.
That's right. My pleasure.
That's great. So the QR code's there, and I'll pop that up a little bit later as well. So there feels like a natural pause in our conversation. So we might hear from our sponsors, and we'll pop back in a couple of minutes. Thanks, Jen. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're back. So I know that you've just talked about some things that are changing for you at the moment, and which way you're going. But how has your evolution to sort of pursuing your passion and purpose changed over time? Do you get like a nudge, or do you think, I don't want to do this anymore? Like, how does it change, and how do you follow the next step?
I'm really aware that right before breakthrough, there's chaos. And chaos doesn't have to be big chaos. It can be just squirming. So it's that butterfly needs to be a butterfly. It has to struggle to get out of the cocoon. And so I notice when I squirm, and in the past where I would have just gone, no, you don't do that. I'm like, I let myself be curious about it and notice what's going on so that I can mindfully move through it. And just be curious. Okay, where is that? What's that? What's going on? And I energy attracts energy. So I know the more that I do that, all of a sudden different books show up, it's just like the universe goes, come on, you want to have a look? Here it is. However, when we're emotional beings living a logical life, we live in a logical world. And so the more we tap into our intuition, and the more we tap into it is just by using it. So a lot of my work up in Asia is teaching from the aromatherapy insight cards I created, which is all working with the emotional side of essential oils. And so I'm working with people, predominantly women, who are in a culture where you don't show emotions, let alone talk about them and learn to teach about them. And so getting them to start trusting and using their intuition, because it's in all of us. It's in kids. We're born with it. Society kicks it out of us. So the more we start just trusting and listening, the more it just opens up, and it's so cool. So I listen and feel my squirms with curiosity. I just go, cool, something's coming. And, where I'm at now with the Present Day Wise One, I've been trying to find that literally. It's been screaming at me for about 15 years. Wow. And I'm mindfully chasing it for so long. And looking and do this course, do that course, get a big tribal tattoo on my leg, do it, all the things. I've done it all. And what I noticed is that, when we push to do anything, when we try to achieve anything, we energetically push it away. So masculine energies, do. I had the pleasure of doing Marianne Williamson's women's retreat about 6 or 7 years ago. And I really learned the difference with feminine energy is to be. And so when we just be, it allows intuition to be able to really fire. And so for me, I give myself space to listen and see and be curious what's really going on. And then it just flies in. And then you trust it. You get to trust it, because our logical mind will try to say, no, that can't be it. Get out of here. It's like, no, trust it, act on it, look at it, play with it, try it on, don't die wondering. Yeah. It'll lead you to the next door. I open every damn door. I don't walk through every door, and I still open every door.
Oh, I love that. Okay. And does your intuition then give you that feeling of like when you're opening the door, okay, I'm observing, I thought that might have been something that I wanted, but actually by looking and sort of being curious, you think, that's not really what I want, and you close it again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I trust that feeling. I'm also really quite discerning, because I know the difference nowadays from years of doing it between, I'm just scared and don't want to do it, versus, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that discernment is really important as well. And I mean, I think the more you practice discernment, I think the better you get at it as well.
Absolutely.
And your boundaries get stronger as well then as well. It's just a natural thing.
It is.
And with your intuition, do you remember when you first noticed your intuition? Like, were you a child, or was it when you got a bit older? Like, what are your first memories of it?
No, I don't. I think it would have to have been, when I started, in my late 20s, working with energetic kind of stuff. All my studies around being a naturopath and everything. It would have been in that time. I don't remember, a specific kind of moment though.
Yeah. And are other people in your family intuitive? Like, are you like?
Oh, no. No. Look, I am the blackest of black sheep.
Yeah.
I'm wildly different to the rest of my family. I was born in the wrong country in the wrong family. I really was. I'm an energetic being. I am so that Asian energetic living-y kind of person. I was born in the wrong country and the wrong family. Yeah.
Yeah. So that discernment comes in, I suspect, when you're around your family as well, of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. And it's okay, It's just I'm just on a different journey.
Yeah.
I know I attracted them as a family. I came in as a soul to learn, and I've had a ton of gifts and lessons from them.
Yeah.
Hopefully allowing me to ascend and not repeat them again next lifetime. Some of them want to repeat. Yeah.
I love that. And so you talked about before, from a grounding point of view, using your oils. Is there anything else that you do, like specifically from a grounding perspective? I mean, obviously you walk barefoot on your grass. Anything else that you do?
I play my ukulele.
Yeah. Okay.
Music's good. Just anything. Surfing is so grounding, because you have no choice but be present.
Yeah.
As soon as you're thinking something else, you're not one with the ocean, you're off.
Yeah.
So surfing, what strangely is incredibly grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, playing my ukulele, that's really good. But I'm a big gardener.
Mm.
I love gardening so much. I love growing my food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
That's really special.
Mm.
And I read somewhere not so long ago that there's a certain element in dirt that is actually like an antidepressant. So when people are gardening, it's a lot of psychologists suggest it for people who have got mental health issues because there's something in the dirt that actually helps you from an antidepressant point of view.
Well, I'm not sure what they're exactly referring to. What
Yeah.
I do know is, when you feel happy after you've been to the beach or you've been playing out in the sun and playing in the garden, doing all those things, a big part of that is negative ions. So Mother Nature is negatively charged. You think, negative, I don't want negatives, I want positive.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but the cool vibes are the negative ions.
Ah,
In
okay.
nature. And you can go and buy negative ion generators. I remember back 40 years ago when I was working in the pharmacy industry, we sold negative ion generators for people who were really sick to change the energy in their rooms. Now, I had no idea what that stuff was really doing in those days. I was not the tree hugging hippie.
Yeah.
I've been around long. They're an old thinking thing. However, it is. And so I'm not sure about minerals or anything they might be talking about, in that research, but I know
Yeah.
the power of negative ions is huge.
Right.
And so toxins, stress, all those kind of things in nature are positive ions.
Mm-hmm.
So we want more negative ions. And so energetically, if I'm doing things, for my health as a naturopath and I'm doing nutritional cleansing and stuff, I take herbs that are negatively charged to help bind onto positively charged toxins to help them expel from the body.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
that's just naturopathic stuff as well. So
Okay.
herpetonics are a way to do that. So
Yep.
yeah, negative for me it would be negative ions, but you're tapping into them anytime you're out in nature. Waterfalls, digging in the garden, you're stirring up the energy of the earth.
Yeah. And then you're outside, you're in the
All of that.
breeze, you're
It
in the
just it
sun.
turns your happies on. It just
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get out of the house.
Yes. 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 Um, so I'd like to come back to the work that you do in corporate, and in particular, you really dealt with burnout in the corporate world. And so do you think that there is still barriers that exist for women in the corporate space, like particularly pursuing leadership and leadership roles and those sort of things?
God, yeah, absolutely. We're
Yeah.
still silenced. We're still laughed at in boardrooms. We're held back from positions 100%.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is such a bias towards men.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you go into corporates and work with women in relation to that sort of thing, or is it more from the health perspective?
I haven't in the past. Yes, I
Mhm.
am now in the future. Yeah,
Right.
that's the
Cool.
area I'm moving into is women in leadership.
Okay,
So,
fantastic.
yeah, very much. So, no, in the past, it's been, and, I remember when I first started, 25 years ago, I thought I'm going to go into the speaking world, and I was the hemp pants wearing
Mhm.
hippie naturopath, and I worked with corporate coaches to even, my first book, The 7 Steps to Sandy, it was my, I wanted to call it Fuck the Stress, which is the name of the new one, but they went, well, you can't do that for corporate. And I went, okay,
Mm.
sure. So they helped me corporatize and formalize the language so that and wear a suit so that they would listen to the tree hugging hippie.
Mm.
And I became very good at being able to cross all the boundaries. And I've had big clients. I've done huge corporations and been in some of the biggest boards over in the United States and stuff in the past speaking. So
Mm.
I've crossed that hippie barrier really well.
Yeah.
However, at 64,
Yep.
fuck the stress.
Yeah. Yeah. No one's going to silence you now.
Listening to any of those. No, they're not. They're not. And so this book came out a year ago. I've been speaking in corporate environments and no one's phased.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's when we're congruent and we speak from our heart, we speak our truth, we're heard.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when I was younger, I bought into the, Jen, you've got to look a particular way. I
Mm.
was younger. That's
Yeah.
all part of the wisdom of aging that we
Yeah.
go, yeah, nah, yeah,
Yeah.
nah. I want to work with people who want to hear this message.
Yeah.
And by
Yeah.
the way, the condensed version of the old book is in the back of the book too.
Right.
So there's still great information in that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all part of aging.
Mm.
And I look forward to the fact that, my TED talk is all around women using their voices.
Mm.
And so that's absolutely the direction I'm heading
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's really interesting because like I had a corporate career in HR for 20 plus years and I've been out of it for 4 years now, but I often reach out to some of the women that I used to work with and leaders that I've worked with and have said, do you need any help in coaching or anything like that? And I'm also an energy healer and I do oracle card readings. And so
Yeah.
often the response is, no, I don't need a coach at the moment, but can I book in for a reading?
Yeah.
And because there's so many people that are in
Yeah.
corporate, but that other world is, I think, less hidden. I think it's being spoken
Definitely.
about a little bit more.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, just to watch the evolution of it?
I remember when I left the pharmacy industry. So the pharmacists had always been the most respected, higher than doctors, higher than everything. So I'm going back 40 years.
Yeah.
If you said, who do you trust? You trusted your pharmacist. So for me to be in the pharmacy industry, my mum was always like, oh, Jen's in the pharmacy industry, blah, blah, blah. All good. And then I crossed over to being a naturopath. And for years, she couldn't understand why I would leave such a respected
Mm,
profession and couldn't even explain to people what I did. It
wow.
was huge. It's
Yeah.
a wildly different world now to what it was 40 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gratefully, because people like myself have just normalized that it's important to talk about natural health.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So I love before that you talked about that, no door goes left unopened. You may not walk through it, but you'll have a peek and have a look at it. So what
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone if they're just starting out and exploring their passion and purpose? What advice could you give someone that's sitting here listening and thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I could do that?
Yeah. Stop and take a breath. Get back in your body. So when we're stuck in our head, that's where we analyze the shit out of everything. Versus wriggle your toes, put your hand on your heart, physically get back into your body, take a breath, and then just do something. So confidence comes after courage. We have to have the courage to take the step to open the door. You're not going to die opening the door.
Yeah.
Step through might be a different story, but just stop, take a breath, and to get into your body. I still touch my heart. I learnt this 30 odd years ago. I wriggle my toes. Whether I'm on big stages with 10,000 people or something speaking or whatever, people have got no idea I'm wriggling my toes.
Yeah.
But it keeps me grounded and
Mm,
keeps me in my body out of my head, because our head, we are story making machines.
yeah.
Human beings are incredible story making machines that don't serve us.
Mm,
And so the more we can get out of our head and stay grounded, the more we'll be open to, or we'll be available to have the courage, to find that courage to take the step. If you want to play in the aromatherapy world, cedarwood is a great essential oil to help us stay grounded and access courage.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
be curious. We don't always know what's on the other side. Don't make up stories of what it's going to be, and open every door.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stop, breathe, touch your body, open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And through your journey, have you had a regular or consistent support network around you that has always been supportive of what you've been doing and each step that you've taken, or do you think that that's evolved over time as well?
I've always paid for mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had people to help coach, guide me, keep me on track, mentor me.
Yeah.
I've always invested in my own personal development.
Yeah.
Since I was 23, I went to my first personal development class. Got kicked out of the army I was actually 20, not 19, for being gay, and then went into the pharmacy industry. And it was in the pharmacy industry I found, it was the 80s, and it was the time of all the rah-rah kind of sales courses, and personal development just found its place.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of personal development in those days, and I realized the value of having mentors and coaches. So I've paid for mentors and coaches for decades.
Yeah.
So I've always had that support that I've mindfully paid for. And look, over the years, some partners have been great. Family, it's not been a thing. I remember I did this really cool speaking gig for the World Bank. Literally, I was in the office of the World Bank in Washington, D.C. I looked out the window. There's the White House. Big speaking gig. And came home from that gig, and I remember, sitting around the family, and they're going, "What are you doing, Jenny?" "Oh, I'm just back from the States, yeah, World Bank, blah, blah." And as a speaker, that was a good gig.
Yeah.
And then my big sister who was there went, "Oh, let's get the cobwebs out of the corner of the pergola."
Mm.
And I went, "Yeah, look, they're not my cheer squad, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't make them wrong. That's okay."
Yeah.
So I learned important to surround myself with people who were going to lift me up. I celebrated the stuff like that. So even when I found out about TED, I had a handful of people I just went to and went, "No, I'm excited." I still have not told one family member.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know where I get the support I need to lift me up,
Yeah.
and I don't make stories about it. I don't make them wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do what I need to do to look after me.
I love that. And I think that that's a really great insight, because I'm a bit the same. I mean, I'm youngest of 6, but, my family loves me and is proud of me. But I
Same.
think,
I don't know how to deal with it.
yeah, exactly. And I think that it's I love that you've touched on it, because I think sometimes when we are so excited about what we're going to do, we naturally think and expect, I think, that our family and our friends are going to be really 100% supporters.
Yeah,
But
no.
actually, sometimes that doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to have. I find I've got just a very small handful of people that are around me that support me, but they're also happy to challenge me as well.
Oh, yeah.
I
You
think
got to have
that's
people who'll
really,
call you on your bullshit. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. I think that that's really important,
Yeah.
because I don't want someone just saying, yes, yes, Megan, that's great, because it may not be. I might think it's great, but their perspective could be something that I need to listen to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Agree.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So, look, I wouldn't even imagine how many people that you've worked with over the years. Probably hundreds of thousands. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot.
Counting the amount of people on stage as well. It's a lot of people.
A lot
Yeah.
of people.
It's
Let's
a lot
say
of people.
millions. Let's say
Oh,
millions.
that's a good thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Millions.
Just one of my podcasts has had, over 750,000 downloads. Like, yeah, a lot of people hear my stuff.
Love this.
So I don't know. It would be millions.
It would
I
be
think
millions.
it would be millions, but it's yeah. I'm older too, Megan. I'm 64. I've been around a while.
I love it. I love it. So, with that in mind, can you share an example of a transformative moment, either with you, or I'd love to hear from someone that you've worked with, that they've broken through that stress cycle and then it's just changed their life profoundly?
If I trust my intuition, I go back 25, 28 years, and I had a woman who was in her 80s. So if you're sitting and thinking, she was like 82. And if you're sitting and thinking, I'm too old to get my shit together,
You're not.
you're not. You're not. And I remember her really well. And she was, I don't want to say the frail little old lady, but she wasn't strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She had a really good mind and was open and would come for massages and different things in my clinic. But I worked with her because she was repeating some cycles that were not, emotionally healthy and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of kinesiology with her in those days. So kinesiology, if you're in Northern America, it's a very different thing to what we do with it down here. It's working with emotions here, where North America, they think it's like muscle manipulation of things. It's different.
Yeah.
However, it's and what we helped do was to get her body to be able to respond differently, and it was around aging. So not buying into the game that she was a little old lady, where she had family who treated her like the
She was
little old lady.
82.
They protected her.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But she was really frustrated with it. But she was frustrated with it that she started to not use her voice because it was easier to keep the peace.
Ah, of course, yes. And all of those years ago too, I would imagine that
Oh,
at 82, the woman just didn't say anything anyway, right?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
she was a really slight woman. She'd
Mm-hmm.
been a healthy eater all her life, all those kind of things. She was a bloody legend. Anyway, we worked together, and slowly, so as she needed to go slowly because and I'm talking months,
Yeah.
but slowly to get her the confidence just to learn to say no. So she was doing everything physical to be healthy. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, if you had to find a textbook clean eater, all those things, she was great. She was a
Yeah.
really cool chick. However, the emotions were beating her.
Yeah.
And so her body physically should have been alkaline and all working properly, and it wasn't. She was acidic from the emotional stress.
Mm.
And so getting her to start using her voice, her physicalness changed.
Mm.
And, when I retired from clinic, she stayed with me for years. And when I retired from clinic, she was another woman. But I saw it in her physicalness that she was still a slight woman, but her shoulders were back and she stood proud versus she used to she didn't shuffle, but she'd kind of slop her
Mm-hmm.
feet. And she was just a super cool chick. But she was, 82, you're allowed to be old. But the old doesn't have to be old. She was, what do you call it? She'd never married.
Mm-hmm.
Was just a cool chick, and she'd done career over. She'd worked for the old PMG and the old Telegraph thing. She'd done career over relationship. She was just a great woman.
Yeah.
But she started to buy into being old, and she didn't like it. And it was a big, bold move for her to want to do something with it.
Mm.
So I learned from her such an important part of my role as the practitioner of any description or the coach or whatever is keep them safe so that they can feel safe to make the move at a pace that they can deal with.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Jen's pretty full-on kind of person, and that full-on push, drive is again masculine energy. And if we just allow, and for her, she was a defining moment in my career that I operated differently with people. But she'll be well gone now, but she was a fucking legend.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that. And it's interesting, isn't it, that you said that was really important for you to have her as a client that long ago, because I would imagine that when we're so enthusiastic about our clients, we're like, oh, and we want them to do all of these things, but you actually need to meet them where they are.
Where they are.
It's not about you, it's about them.
Totally.
That's a beautiful example of,
and especially
all of those
that was in my earlier days.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably only been graduated maybe 7 or so years at that stage, 7 or 8 years, or maybe up to 10. So I was still ignorance on fire. I was still like the reformed smoker who had just get your shit together, like play eat properly, like just do the stuff versus allow people to step into that space. So it was like, you and I on a first date, and instead of, we're fronting up on a first date and I'm going, hey, Megan, do you want to marry me? And it's like people go, oh. So she was really good for me to learn to just.
Beautiful gift.
And she could lean in and we just, we moved it. And
so
she was
beautiful.
Great. She was a cool chick. We had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun working with her.
Yeah, yeah. What a beautiful gift that she gave you as well.
Yeah, she did. It helped me grow as a practitioner and a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you believe that we've only got a couple of minutes left?
Not surprised.
Already.
It's been great to chat.
I know. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I love to ask all of my guests before we finish our conversation.
Sure.
So what is one lesson or truth that you've learned on your journey that you wish you had known earlier?
Everything's possible. Everything.
Mm.
Everything is possible if we just open our mind to it. Our thoughts create our feelings, which create our actions, which create our results. So if we want to do anything in life, having an open mind, growth mindset, to be able to even see it's possible, it becomes possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you think that you finally got that truth or lesson then?
Really solidly kind of in the DNA of my body, and have lived it ever since. Yeah. Probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a different mentor who helped. I learned that a long time ago. However, I had a different mentor who said the same thing different ways, and it landed on me then.
Resonated really well.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally
Isn't that
different.
interesting?
And that's the thing, we've got to hear the same thing over and over and over
Yeah.
until it lands in a way that we get it, and it cellularly, changes us.
Yeah.
That's when we'll bring change in.
Yeah.
But it took a while. Yeah. And I've got an inner rebel that's bloody. I have a
Really?
inner rebel. Yeah. I got a ripper.
That
And so,
surprises me.
yeah. And she'll just go, yeah, nah, a lot. So it was a big one for me to grow through. Yeah. I'm grateful I have.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's been great.
Yeah, I just feel really privileged to have sat here and had this beautiful conversation with you. So thank you. Thank you for everything that you've shared, and also just how you show up for women and inspire them to be a priority in their own life. I think that I'm really grateful for that, and I'm sure that there's a lot of other women that are as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I want to be the mentor I wish I had.
Yeah.
That wise woman I wish I had in my life when I was younger.
Well, you absolutely
So I want to show
are.
up for those women like I never had.
Yeah, you're definitely achieving that. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank all of our amazing and dedicated audience, our sponsors, our supporters, and I hope that everybody has an amazing rest of the week. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you, Jennifer. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Megan.